So offboarding and then onboarding employees. So you may be asking, what does this have to do with actual cybersecurity? We're just bringing in new employees, or we're letting someone go, and it has a lot to do with the information that you provided to the individual coming in and to the individual leaving. So when you're giving someone access to your network, you're bringing someone in, you're onboarding an employee in, you're giving them username and passwords, you're giving them network access, you're giving them permissions to open up files and documents, to see the trade secrets, to see exactly how do we actually do business here. Okay, so we're giving them a lot of information. So now, as their tenure goes on here at the business, we want them to be up to date with the latest and greatest when it comes to um devices and then the security software that's on there. But we also want to make sure that that employee has the training to understand what type of sites that they're going at, how to not be a victim of phishing campaigns, things of that nature. So we want to make sure that our onboarding process is properly set up to set them up with the proper training and the standards that we want to have already, right? So in our previous lesson, we learned about policies and procedures. In that policy, we can let the new employee know this is how we are going to have passwords for our usernames. Okay. In order for you to get onto our network, we need to have a strong password. We need to have 8 characters, 8 to 12 characters long. We need to have uppercase and lowercase mixed with some numbers and a special character here or two. Okay, and we let them know from the beginning that this is how we actually do business here, and this is how we keep things secure. Okay, so that's your onboarding process. It can go a lot deeper than that, but it lets you know up front that this is how we're actually going to do business. Offboarding. So what do we do when someone is fired? Someone leaves the company unexpectedly. Someone passes away. That information now is open until we disable that account, until we take those things away. Say if we gave them a laptop and now we have a remote user that's in the middle of the country or across the world, and then that person decides to quit and they keep the information, they keep the desktop or the laptop with them, or they keep the cell phone with them that has company information on it. How do we get that stuff back? How do we actually remote into that stuff and wipe it clean? Did we set up a policy saying that this is what is going to happen if we uh, don't hear from you within 2 weeks of no communication? So we need to set those things out in our policies, right? So when that person onboards, we need to let them know this is what's happening when in your tenure here. But as you as you work and you're in our environment, or when you decide to leave our environment, these things will happen in a process type of in a process moment. So um, when you if a person were to leave or unexpectedly get fired, we want to make sure that we take back all cell phones, any type of mobile devices. We want to make sure that we disable accounts. We don't want to delete accounts, but we want to make sure that we put a stop to anyone gaining access to them. That's the most important part. Given the situation, we may need to look into the account and maybe do an investigation. So that's why we don't want to delete it right off the getting the news that someone has been terminated from the job. Okay, so with these two different aspects, onboarding and offboarding, they're very important on keeping information in house, because we're bringing someone in to our network and we're letting them know our secrets. And so whenever they come in, we want to make sure that they're connected and they're protected, but when they leave, that we keep the information that they had protected to our close knit network.